Hello, everybody. It's so wonderful that we got spring heading right in front of us, and you're going to be able to just enjoy your outdoors. But until you get there, we're just going to have to stay in and stay warm. So, you're tuning in to Tracy's Keeping It Real, and today we have a really special guest in our attendance that I have enjoyed just watching her out in the community doing wonderful things and really being a great role model to young girls who really need to see how our sisters can really take things and just run with them. So today I want to introduce you to DeVonna Pittman. And DeVonna, how are you this afternoon?
I am great, Tracy. I am great.
Wow. Well, it's so wonderful. I look at you on Facebook and I see you at all these events. And one of the things I love the fact that you're rocking that short hair. So you got this product that's called Nature's Syrup. And, DeVonna Pittman is a trailblazer. You're an entrepreneur, you're an author, and an advocate for Black women in business. And you also began your career in politics and public service, working to create an opportunity for underrepresented communities. Eventually, you transformed into a full time entrepreneur, funding a plant based beauty brand and establishing Curls and Cultural Lounge. Got a lot going on. A space dedicated to celebrating natural hair, self care, and sustainability. Through your work, you have continued to uplift and inspire women, bridging the words and the advocacy and businesses. So let's welcome DeVonna this afternoon.
Thank you, Tracy. First of all, thank you for having me. It's always an honor being in your presence. The ultimate community engager. So thank you for that. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. And I look for Black women that inspire and encourage me, and you're one of them that do. I watch you and I see how you're really engaged and you're out in the community, and when you're in the community you're real. I mean, it's like a lot of times you'll see people out in the community and they kind of like walk past you like that. Sometimes you don't exist, or but I see you engaging with everybody that you come in contact with, and to me that's so important because we got to realize the community is what builds us, so we never can get too big for them. So thank you for being who you are. But let's just dive in to talk about a little bit about the public service and the full-time entrepreneurship that you have going on. So you spent nearly 2 decades at Hennepin County raising to the roles of disparity reduction coordinator. How did that experience shape you, and how did you understand the systematic changes? And did it influence your decision to start your own business being there?
Absolutely. You know, I spent 18 years of my life at Hennepin County, and when I started in what 2000, I didn't know who I was. I had to learn a lot. I learned a lot about systems and how decisions were made, and a lot of the things I didn't initially understand. But when I started seeing how um, these decisions were shaping the money that was flowing into our communities and who was making those decisions, I couldn't just sit there and be idle anymore. I had to open my mouth. I had to have conversations about, what I saw, the things I didn't agree with. And it takes you a very long time in most cases to build up the confidence and the boldness to approach those things.
Mhm.
And I got to the point where I was like, you know what? These decisions are not in the best interest of our community. And that's when I decided to run for Hennepin County Commissioner
Okay.
in
Okay.
2020.
All right. That was a smart move because with that, it put you at the table.
It put me at the table. I realized that the people who were making those decisions are just people. And unless we challenge them, they're going to continue doing all the things that they're doing. The person that I ran against, even though I fell short 1,292 votes out of 85,000 votes, the person that I initially ran against actually retired mid race. So I ended up running against the mayor of Brooklyn Park, and he brought his whole constituency. When I lost that race, I saw myself as a leader because I know I ran a really good race. And it was painful, of course. It never feels good to lose,
Mhm.
especially when you don't have a plan B. And after that race, I realized that I could not only build something, but I could lead something. And I was already doing nature syrup on the side. So I decided I'm going all in with this and I'm going to give it all my energy.
That's so important because a lot of times we get knocked down and we don't get back up, and that's important that we get back up. And sometimes it's a matter of taking what you already have and making it grow like you've done it, and opposed to what's next, and forgetting about you already got this nice little thing going on over here.
Hmm.
Why not let it blow up? So excellent plan there. So we know that you ran for the commissioners and that you didn't make it, but you kept going, and you took this to a whole nother experience of leadership. So can we talk about kind of how did you transfer from the public service to the entrepreneurship and took such a big leap in terms of where you were to this thing you kind of had on the side that you kind of were just having fun with. You weren't
Hmm.
taking it real serious. So where did that defining moment come when you decided I need to take this full time? I need to really take the bull by the horns.
Yeah. The way I see it is we're all given gifts and talents when we're born. And sometimes we're fearful to step all in with those things. And we got to get knocked down. Like you said, we have to get knocked down. Doors have to get shut in our face. We have to get a whole lot of no's until we're finally like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this thing. And sometimes it feels like it's your last resort. But for me, I had been doing this thing on the side and I really like doing it. But what I really loved about doing it was all the tangible pieces. I love being in my kitchen formulating. I love, testing new fragrances and blending different ingredients. I really love doing that. So, when I decided I wanted to go all in full time, that was kind of like my process, my thinking, because I had never been you know, in charge. I had never been leading something that I had created. So that's a whole different idea. That's different from being in my kitchen formulating. It's like now I got to put some processes in place. Now I got to operationalize this thing. Now I got to have staff. I got to have people working for me. That is so different than working in the kitchen. So, the first 2 years was like me learning how to bring structure to this thing. Because now you're not just trying to figure out, if if a pH balance is right for human hair, you're literally trying to put these processes on a sheet of paper so that if I die tomorrow, somebody else can take these processes and run it seamlessly. So, it was quite the transition, but it was something that I knew that I had to do because I had already tried everything else, and you know, um, God was saying, "Okay, next. Like you've done that Hennepin County thing, you've done that nonprofit thing. It's time to you know get in position and do what you were called to do."
Okay. You're the founder of the Nature Syrup. It's been long before that you did the cleaning beauty movement, gain movement kind of like momentum. What motivated you to create the plant-based beauty brand and what gaps did you see in that industry?
Yeah, so the gaps that I saw, first of all, I big chopped in 2013. 2013. So I was known as the girl with the long, pretty hair. If you can remember, when I first stepped out on the
I can.
scene in Minnesota, my hair was like down my back,
Yeah.
and people would be like, "Oh, the girl with the pretty hair." And you know, I chopped my hair off in 2013 because I wanted to really experience my hair the way it grew out of my scalp. I wanted to walk this earth as authentically as I could, knowing that, none of us are perfect, but when we really get down to who we are,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it transcends the external. And we're African. And I wanted to wear my hair very African, and I also wanted to make sure that the products that I needed I could find, and I couldn't because my hair is very coarse. It's very thick. It's very, by nature, very dry. and it needs a whole lot of love. And that means even watching what I eat. Because of your hair, if you don't feed your hair from the inside, it's not going to matter what you put on it on the outside. But I have 4C hair. If you think about the popular hair chart, my hair is very coarse and it coils very tightly. I don't have to do much to it to get a tight curl because it is tightly curled. But when I chopped it off, there was nothing. I mean, I was a product junkie. I had so many products already. None of those things worked on my hair. So I decided to, start mixing up my own stuff, just pulling things out of my cabinet. Like I may have had some almond oil or avocado oil, and then I ordered some shea butter and just mixed those things up. And I was like, oh my God, my hair loves this shea butter. The shea butter is giving me life. And that is how I started creating products.
Wow. See, that almost brings me to back when I was a little girl. I used to put, I thought in order for your hair to grow, you had to do like put something in it. I tried sulfur 8 and it stunk.
Yep. Yep.
So it's funny how you start making your own concoctions, but you found that it worked and you were able to share it. And you when you think about the coil as you call it, and
Mm-hmm.
it's different words that people use. We got tight hair, nappy hair, whatever they want to refer to it as. They don't know what to do with it, and it's sometimes heartbreaking because they want to wear it a certain way. But once, if they're able to embody what you did and really find the product
Mm-hmm.
that helps them to be proud of their hair, I can't think of something that's more beautiful, than to my daughter when she was younger, she wanted to go natural. And she's like, Mom, I don't know what to do with my hair. And so we just kept working at it, and now she's got beautiful hair and it's natural. She doesn't wear a perm or
Mm-hmm.
nothing. She uses a hot iron sometime to straighten it if she wants it to have a straighter look, but it's just knowing what to do and the product to use in your hair. And I'm pretty sure we were somewhere and she got some nature syrup. So I think that's what she's using in her hair now. She got her own place. So I don't keep up with her hair products anymore. But nature syrup is designed to work with the melanated skin and textured hair, which you just described. So why is it important for beauty brands to be intentional about serving these communities, the hair texture we have? Why is that important?
Well, when we talk about melanated skin and textured hair, you can find some things in the store. But once brands really start to mass distribute, a lot of the formulas change. And so I just think it's important to really know what you're putting in your hair, know where the products are coming from, because, when you talk about plant-based, once you mass produce, it's cheaper for a lot of brands to water the formulas down.
Mhm.
And we're not at that space where we're watering down formulas. We know exactly where all of our ingredients come from. And in fact, we had the incredible opportunity to meet with the women who make our shea butter. A year ago, we went to Africa and spent time in the villages, and they even got to test the products that we make here. So, um, textured hair, we always have problems finding products that moisturize our hair. Um, and so our products are formulated to moisturize really thick hair, really coarse hair, really textured hair. And there's different types of textured hair. Like some people have really loose curls. And so that's why when people come into the Curls and Culture Lounge, we don't try to sell them on all 28 of our hair care products. I can look at someone's hair and tell them exactly which one of our products they need.
Okay.
Because there's different textures and there's beauty in every texture.
And I can't tell you, Devonna, how I think it's so important when you're working with someone like yourself that you do give them advice on what's going to work best for their hair, in your opinion, because you've been working with hair and you know different texture, what's going to really work best for them with your product.
Mm-hmm.
I've gone to hair salons and got my hair done, and I'm like, can you tell me what would work good for my hair? Because I wanted to do this, that, and the other, and not have someone that can really tell you. They just do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad because you want somebody that is going to be touching your hair and doing stuff with your hair to also educate you. So what is it that I shouldn't be using, or what is it I should use more of to make my hair more healthier? So I like that people can walk into your salon and get advice on what's good for their hair.
Hmm.
Cause but you mentioned Africa. What drew you to get the product from there? Cause that's not like you found something here in your backyard you grew and it all of a sudden worked. How did you end up in Africa getting the product that you needed?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Shade trees grow in Africa. They grow in Africa. So I started out actually ordering my shea butter on Amazon. And I've had so many instances where I would order shea butter and it just wouldn't smell good or the color would be off. And I'd be like, this is not shea butter. They're filling it with something
Mm,
to sell it and make money. So they put other things in it like, maybe a oil or a palm oil, like a white palm oil to thicken it. And, you know, it took me like 7 years to really find amazing shea butter. And when I tell you we have the best shea butter, and it's because it comes from the source. So I got this connection um in Canada. So the guy that I order from, he actually married a Ghanaian woman. And so I called him one day. I was like, I really, really love this shea butter. How can I order more? And so I started ordering more, and then he shot me an email and said, "Hey, we're taking a group to Ghana next year. If you want to go, you can." And I'm like, "What um source shea butter would take? I mean, what person vendor would literally take you to their source?"
hmm
So I knew it was just meant to be. How many people would literally take you to their source?
Not many, especially not the way you was ordering it. That he was losing money by taking you out of his equation,
Exactly.
or maybe not.
Exactly. Could have been. But the one thing that I love about this partnership is that, there's a whole training center where the women are being trained how to make the shea butter. Is producing jobs. It's certified fair trade, certified organic. And the guy was like, we want you to know that this shea butter is made with the best quality, um, the social impact around the shea butter. And so he trusted me to bring me on this tour. And it's just a pretty incredible partnership.
Wow, wow, that is amazing. So the women in Africa are being trained and going through a whole process on learning how to really make the shea butter that then gets shipped over here and is sold to people like yourself that have your own product that you need to include the shea butter in.
Yeah, and it was a part of our story that we weren't really telling. It was a part of our story. I mean, how can you tell something that you've never seen?
Hmm
You know,
Yeah.
so I could say all day long we're making social impact because this guy told us or this guy sent us some pictures. But when I went there and spent time in the village with the women, it's just a whole different energy. It's um a whole different vibe because I mean you can't explain it. You can't explain being in this village with no shoes on, eating with your hands, and they don't even really speak English.
Oh.
So you speak with your heart.
hmm
And so it was just an incredible experience to walk through the shea forest. I walked through the shea forest. I saw the shea flower.
Oh.
The shea nut comes from a shea flower, a beautiful flower, which most people don't know. The
Mm-mm.
majority of the people don't know. And it was just an incredible experience to really make that connection with shea butter and where shea butter comes from.
I would love to sit here and just go through the trip with you because it sounds amazing. I can't think how grateful you had to have been for him to take you and you experienced that. So, did you create the partnership after you'd gone there and you guys kind of worked together? And are you a part of the training class now that happens there? Or is that something he's doing and had been doing? How does that one?
Yeah, it's something that he's doing and that he had been doing. And what I love about that partnership is it creates access to food, water, and education. So they built a water pump. It's not like here in the villages, they literally have to have money to build wells and get water. And this Canadian guy built a water well for the women, so now they can go walk out and pump water. So the relationship definitely blossomed after the trip once he got, because me and my husband went together. And once he got to know us and really saw our hearts, Black Men Teach was a sponsor. So they sent like hundreds of books with us. And so it really made us, to that community. Um, it showed them that we're not just Americans who don't care. Like we weren't just coming out there to get their resources, but we actually took resources and left with a plan to even do greater things in that community.
Nice. Oh, how wonderful is that? We're gonna have to hear more about that
Yes.
story, and I can't wait to hear more about it. So, but your work extends beyond, the product that you do. You've launched a Curls and Culture Lounge as a community space. So, what was your vision for that, and how does it reflect your broader mission?
Yeah, we're really excited about the Curls and Culture Lounge. When I'd always said I don't want a store, I don't want to be tied down to a schedule, I don't want to be anywhere, you know, from 8 to 5
Hmm.
ever again. And I don't think that our world really requires that anymore. I love to travel. I don't like, I work very hard. Let's not, mistake that. But I did not want a store. And when we just people kept asking, where are you going to be this weekend? Where y'all going to be? Where can I pick up my product? Can I stop by the office and pick up product? And I said to my chief of staff, I said, we gotta create a space where people can come in and shop. And I said, okay, we got to get a store, but it has to be on our terms. It has to be, um, you know, has to be different. So, when we started thinking about what it would look like, I wrote it. I remember typing, the Nature Syrup store will be open 3 to 5 times a month. And every time I wrote the word store, it did not sit right in my spirit. The word store just doesn't feel right to me because we're so much more than a store. We are a grassroots brand that was built by community. Every container that was purchased, people have a hard time letting our containers go, and they tell me, I got so many containers, I can't throw it away. It's because of the whole evolution of how our product is created. Comes from Africa, made with love, made in our lab with love, and then it reaches the hands of our community, who, they tell their friends, their family, they fight over it, but it was more than a store. So we sat at the table and we talked about what we wanted it to be, and we came up with the Curls and Culture Lounge. We wanted it to be a community space. When people come in, like, I'm a grandmother, so when people come in, I want them to feel, you know, that family vibe. I want people to feel like they're at home. Um, like kids come in there and they're running around, and I'm like, you know what? One cookie for you, stop
Give
that
them too much
running.
sugar, yeah.
Exactly. I want people to feel like they're at home. When people come in there, I tell them all the time, you can try, you can open, smell, test, just enjoy the space. And yes, we were open on Saturday, and I heard the most beautiful story. When we create those kind of spaces, we hear the most incredible stories. This lady told me that her now husband, who was her fiance, invited her on a date, and he gave her a gift of Nature Syrup Beauty.
Oh,
Because
nice.
I was like, "How did you
Yeah.
find us?" And she said, "My husband brought it on our first date, and he gave it to me as a gift." And she's like, "I've been using it ever since." And I was so glad when I heard that you were opening up this space.
Wow, isn't that something? And it's amazing that he even thought to give her something for her hair. It was hair product?
I think it was a skin product. I think it was
Skin.
a lotion because we
Okay.
sell lotions and
Yeah.
body butters
Okay.
too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was just good that it maybe we is at a place and wanted to support a black business, and that was just a blessing for her that he did that and brought it and gave it to her. So them are the stories that you'll be able to tell your grandkids as they come up, and one day maybe take the business over. Who knows where you might land with them and the stories that they'll hear as they grow older and they start to resonate and make the stories their own and hold on to them. So that is so
Yes.
precious. So
Yes.
sustainability is a big part of your business model. How are you to ensure your products and practices align with the value?
Yeah, so even going back to the partnership in Africa, how they reuse the nuts. So when they crack open the nuts and remove the husks, those are used to heat the shea butter when it's being mixed. And so from the very beginning of the creation of our shea butter, there's sustainability there. So nothing is thrown away. Everything is reused there, and we have a constant mission to reuse and sanitize all the containers. So we'll even have some reuse and return dates for at our curls and culture lounge.
Mm-hmm.
Some people know about it, and they always bring us containers, but we're still trying to make sure that we get that message out there, especially right now with the tariffs happening. And, we're just thinking ahead. There might be a time where we can't even get the containers. So we got to make sure that we're reusing what we have now and just taking care of our environment.
And that's so important. And thinking ahead as a businesswoman, you gotta do it. You gotta think about what if, and prepare for it. So you're not waiting for it to happen
Yes.
and then you try to react because sometimes that's too late. So always thinking ahead is very important. So as a business on financial growth and being a black woman, many women dreams are started by their own businesses, and then they have the struggle with funding. Oh boy! And I'm sure a lot of women will love to hear this part too. So, where did you find financial support to even get started with this? Once you decided it wasn't no little toy over here, you needed to really make it a business.
Yeah. I took a lot of risks. I took a lot of risks. And a lot of people are afraid to take risks. But I bootstrapped for the first 5 years, my own money. I so when I worked for the county, I let me see, I think it was about my play money. I think I was giving myself like $800 a pay period. And so all of that money, or 70% of that money, I would throw right into nature syrup. I would take it, buy shea butter, buy all my containers, and I did that for 5 years, without any help, any grants, um, any loans. And then when I left my full-time job in 2022, I knew that I needed to put more money in. I knew that I needed my own space. I had to come out of my basement. I had a storage room in my basement where I kept everything, but things started flowing from my basement to my upstairs, and I had boxes all over the place. And it's really true. If you want to grow, you have got to be your first investor. And I couldn't ask anybody to invest anything in my business if I couldn't. And so I took out my first loan in 2023, and we were able to grow the business, grow the brand. I took out an SBA loan, working with NDC. NDC has been an incredible supporter of Nature Syrup, and we use those funds to buy inventory, for marketing, and to help with staff, and really just grow the business and have space that we needed to grow.
Well, and people are going to want to know, what does NDC stand for? Because if now they heard that it was a great part of your business, they're probably going to want to tap into that.
Yes, Neighborhood Development Center.
Okay.
Neighborhood Development Center. They have incredible programs for emerging entrepreneurs and solopreneurs. So, yes.
All right. So, and I know everybody don't have $800. How often did you put that play money aside? Was it every other week or once a week?
It was biweekly. I got paid biweekly.
Okay, so everybody don't have $1,600 to kind of put into a thing. So what advice would you give to black women that are seeking funding in the beauty and wellness industry that don't have that opportunity and they're just like trying to start from square one, where would you
Yeah,
direct
it
them?
doesn't take a lot. It really doesn't. When I think about how much, so start on, I know we're boycotting Amazon right now, or we're thinking about boycotting Amazon. But a lot of people are saying you can literally go on the site, figure out where the vendors are and shop directly with the vendors. But you can buy 16 ounces of shea butter very cheap. You can buy containers very cheap. Start with what you have. If you don't have $800 biweekly, if you have $200, if you have $100, you can start a business. You can start a business with $50. The goal is to start with what you have and triple it. So if you spend $50, you could turn that $50 into $100 very quickly.
Okay.
Very
All
quickly.
right.
My shea butter, I think we used to sell it for like $10 for a 16 ounce. Um, and now we sell 8 ounces for $25. And you can do that when you know that you have a luxury brand and you are really giving people quality products.
And from there they can, and to your point, you can start with 50, double it, 100, but you got to keep reinvesting it, and that's what people,
Exactly.
you can't take that 100 and think you can go buy you a new pair of
Or go get
shoes
your nails
or
done.
get your nails did, like they say.
You got to
You
sacrifice.
have to sacrifice
And
it.
it's been constant sacrificing and constantly taking risks for me.
Oh, and today, look at you. It's paid off. So it's all about, you got to pay it forward first, and then it comes back in time. Patience, patience, patience. So, what was your biggest challenge and successes in scaling your business?
Um, I will say that gosh, my biggest challenge and my biggest success are pretty much the same thing. Um, so a lot of people know that we're sold online at Macy's and Walmart. We have been in Macy's for 2 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you, and it's going well. Like 90% of the people who shop Nature Syrup Beauty on Macy's are from the East Coast. So we're being connected with shoppers who are, who normally wouldn't have access to our brand. But I don't take anything for granted because you just never know what might happen.
Mhm.
These major retailers are oftentimes in back rooms making decisions that you don't have access to. I mean, you can't really join those conversations. So I do have an agent, but oftentimes that agent isn't in the room when Macy's are, thinking about their bottom line. So I consider that a great success because it's an opportunity. At the same time, last April, last March or April, we got a note from Macy's saying that they were terminating our partnership.
Oh,
And I was like,
yeah.
it hit me in my chest. It was like no, how and why? Because we're doing so great. We have all these new customers. What is going on? We had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
Macy's had closed over 200 stores across the country. And they were trying to figure out how to make up for that. So, and I was like, okay, we got to keep going. Macy's didn't make us. Macy's ain't gonna break us.
Okay.
We got to keep going. But at the same time, it didn't feel good. Just like when I didn't win my county commissioner race,
Okay.
it didn't feel good. And a couple months later, they reached out and said, we were reorganizing and we know that Nature Syrup was a great asset and we want to invite you back. And we were like, "Ooh, okay. Thank God we didn't you know, take it again. We don't take those things for granted. I consider it a blessing to have that partnership, but at the same time, you got to always be working on other contacts, on other relationships. You cannot put all your eggs in one basket.
Mm-mm. No, you cannot. You're a fool if you do, because when if you had Macy's closed or put you out, and there you'd be thinking, okay, now what? But
Right.
but you already knew what. Now what? You
Yeah.
knew.
Yeah.
Keep it pushing. As I like to say, just keep it going, And what's next is that we're going to find another store we're going to be in. But in the meantime, we're going to keep pushing our products out there online to now our customers that we already had. All people need to know once you get started is how can they find you. And so being in Macy's is definitely great, but as long as people can still find you,
That's true.
that's what's most important.
That's so true. And I think that probably was, the deciding factor for them is like all these new customers have purchased this product through Macy's. Now they're going to go direct
Yeah, they
to
don't
her.
need Macy's anymore, and they felt the hit. So that speaks volume of your product because it was moving. So that means it's working. And then you got people from the East Coast
The East Coast, yes.
that's your big product line. It's funny how you can know where your movement is coming from, and that's the area where women are really embracing natural hair.
Yeah, and um we watch our analytics and the East Coast. I mean, I love just being on the East Coast. It's a whole different vibe. And they are just like us, but I think it's more concentrated.
Mhm.
The blackness is more concentrated.
Yeah.
And they talk to each other. And
Okay.
they tell people like this is what I'm using on my hair, you should try it,
Okay.
you know?
Nice,
So
nice. I'm on my way out that way. I'll have to see how the culture is out there. Look
I
forward
love
to
it.
it.
I love it.
Well, DeVonna, you are so much more than just a business owner, an entrepreneur. You are also, and you mentioned that he traveled with you, but you're a wife and you're a mother. How do you balance growing a business with family life? Because I know you got this one young daughter that she's all into her career right now. I met her, and so how do you do that?
Yeah, I was a very young mom. I was a young wife, and I feel like I grew up with my kids, and I feel like I grew up on my husband
Okay.
because he's older. He's 14 years older than I am. So he had already traveled the world. He had already kind of mapped out his whole life, you know. I was 25 when I met him, 26 when we got married, and I felt like I was still evolving.
Okay.
I'm sure he thought, this is just going to be real. We're going to go through this simple, easy life. She's working for the government. We're going to, she's going to do that and retire. But now he has to deal with me saying, nope, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to go full time in this job, take this risk. And of course, how is this going to affect our household, our income? But I have a partner and he is always like, I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe this is going to be everything you said it's going to be. And that has been such an incredible blessing for me. On the other hand, I have two daughters. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I have a beauty brand. We sell hair and skincare. It is synonymous with femininity and women. And my girls are like, we got our own lives. That's your thing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
your thing. You
yeah.
go do your thing. So, but the most incredible thing is my chief of staff is my niece.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, she lives in Atlanta, but she's helping me build this thing in the most incredible way. And so family building this thing with family side by side. My girls packed products with me. They labeled everything. So, in that season when I first started out, they played their role. And so now my niece is playing her role, and who knows what's going to happen on the back end.
Let me tell you what, you just created I would say a unbelievable thing when you talk about family, because typically you hear about people saying, "Don't hire family. Family ain't gonna work for you," and
Hmm.
and sometimes that's proven to be true. So again, a blessing to know that you could bring your family along with you, and they're supporting your dream and they're helping you. That's a blessing all in itself. So
Yeah, and one of the other things is, when you take a risk, you'll realize that everything you need is right there. My brother is our fulfillment director. So he comes in, he does all the orders, he helps me to like he all of our inventory when you walk into our fulfillment center, the inventory is perfection. My brother has been a shipping director for over 30 years. So when I stepped out on faith and decided to go full time and move into a warehouse, he was like, "I got you, sis. I'll come over there and I'll do it." And so he's on the payroll now.
Nice, nice. Did he start off on the payroll, or you just he was willing to just help?
He was just willing to help. And I
Nice.
said, so he comes over 2, 3 times a week and he does all of the shipping and he's on the payroll.
Nice. That's, and sometimes we can't always put you on the payroll right away, but if
No,
you're
ma'am.
willing to help us get there,
Mm-hmm.
then we'll hopefully be able to work together in the future. And I think I, I can't speak enough about the value in having family, because there's that trust factor you now
So
have.
true.
It's just being around people you love, and but it's a unique thing that every business can't always say that they have the opportunity to do that. So congratulations, and I should say kudos on being able to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me what advice you would give for women trying to juggle entrepreneurship and motherhood, and maybe not even having the family support that you're so lucky to have.
Pace yourself. Pace yourself. Um, take your time. Plan. Sit down, and I'm very old fashioned. I have to have a to do list. If I don't have a to do list, my day just goes to hell and back. I mean, a literal to do list, like not on the computer,
Okay.
because I gotta feel it when I'm writing. I gotta see it, and I might start my day out with like 5 things that I gotta do, and I might not get through that list, but I could check off some things, and then um, for the rest of the week, I got my blueprint. I know what I need to do,
Because you
and
still have to follow what you didn't get done.
exactly, and it's still staring me in the face. And I might not even finish that list for the week, but I tape it on my desk and I work hard to get those things done. But pace yourself, honor what you've built, no matter what, because people will make you feel like this little thing ain't worth doing.
Hmm.
I remember when I used to write, you know, lemon pound cake on my body butter. I would buy these little labels and then write lemon pound cake on the container. Mango honey child, I write it on the container. And I'm sure people were like, "Oh, that's so raggedy and, ghetto." But I kept doing it until now my labels are retail ready. Like, they can be placed in any retail store because that's how beautiful they are. We put the time in, we put the work in, and it's not going to happen overnight.
No,
You
it's
know,
not.
I never even imagined being here. This was not, if you would have asked me 10 years ago, what do you think you're going to be doing right now? Um, I would have thought that I would have a leadership role at Hennepin County and I would just age out
Hmm.
like everybody else does,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
mostly everybody else does. I never would have thought that I would be leading an emerging billion-dollar brand, as I say. Um, but keep going. I would say keep going. Continue to put one foot in front of the other. When things don't work out right, or when things don't feel the way you want them to feel, keep going.
And I love that, because I can't help but to echo that, because I tell people all the time, stay focused, stay on your mission.
Mm-hmm.
As hard as it may be, if you believe in it, stay on your mission, because you'll get there. But like you, it has to be resiliency, consistency, writing it down if you need to, so you don't forget the next step for the next day or the next moment.
Mm-hmm.
So all the advice that we're getting and listening from you, it's things that we should be able to do easily, but we
Yeah.
have to stay focused while we're doing them. And it's a struggle, and nothing's super easy in life that's worth having. But if you put the effort towards it, it's worth having when you get to even the midway, because then you can start to celebrate. You got things to celebrate. So
Yes. Yeah.
I absolutely love it. So where can our listeners find your products and learn more about the Curls and Cultural Lounge?
Yes. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook at Nature Syrup, simple Nature Syrup with the two S's in the middle, Nature Syrup. Um, and also, the Curls and Culture Lounge is open 3 to 4 times a month. We're open March 26th, and we have some April dates. So if you follow us on Instagram, you'll see all of the dates that the Curls and Culture Lounge is open. And then we're going to get to the point where we're hosting, different types of pop ups with entertainment, poetry, and, just some incredible activities for our community.
Nice. So they'll be easy to find you because you'll be all over the place, and that's what you already are, though. I mean, you do an excellent job at promoting yourself and your product, and I just see you out there doing your thing, and I'm always so proud of you. So keep doing it. And
Thank you.
I know you got a lot of exciting projects and collaborations that you may have going on. You want to tell us a little bit about, some things that we might want to keep our eye on. I notice you got that book there that looks like something we should know about.
Yes, I'm so happy and proud of this book. This is the Beauty Brand Playbook. The Beauty Brand Playbook, it's full of trade secrets. It is for anyone who is thinking about starting a beauty brand, anyone who has a beauty brand and they feel like they missed some steps. Um, we're gonna have, like, inside this book, there's a 5-year growth plan template, an action plan template. It's a journal, and it's really just going to help you to plan out how to grow your brand efficiently, how to have conversations with retailers, how to build a brand on your own terms.
Nice. And it's ironic you even tell me what you just said because I just had this conversation today. I was saying we don't always have to learn the hard way. Sometimes we can actually learn from somebody else that might have learned it the hard way or not. But if they're showing us success, why would you not want to follow some of the things that they've done? It just makes sense. So get that book. It's the playbook. What is it? The Beauty
The Beauty
Brand
Brand
Playbook.
Playbook.
So get the book if you're heading into the footsteps of DeVonna and see what she did. Learn how she was able to make this billion-dollar industry and be able to be proud to tell us that. Learn from what she did and don't make it so hard that you got to learn all of it on your own. So, DeVonna, thank you so much for being here and sharing your insight and just and putting the playbook out there. I mean, my goodness. You just gave everybody that's interested in doing this a template. All they got to do is follow it, and they should be in a good place. And hopefully, they'll be able to reach back and thank you for that. So, again, thank you so much for joining Tracey's Keeping It Real this afternoon. And I encourage all of you to follow us and to like us and to share what you learned from DeVonna today, and also just share on our Facebook and our social media so that people can learn that weren't able to tune in today. So thank you again so much for joining us and sharing this time with us, and keep it real in your life.